Hello, another wonderful day in Noah's neighborhood. Today I've got this 1070 John Deere. The call was for a intermittent issue in the left rear wheel. You get some like clicking and grinding feeling, and he had another gentleman come out, tear the whole tractor down, pull that whole axle off, wheel off, everything out, take it home, couldn't figure it out, brought it here, put it back together, and said there was no issue. The guy drove for a little while, and now the left side's locked up and the right side just dug a hole and sank itself. You probably saw a picture we posted earlier, and he needs me to look at it. So I am tearing this thing down to figure out what happened. Not to mention that this guy just recently, the other mechanic had put this thing together, and wheel seals are blown out, leaking hydraulic oil everywhere. The underside of this thing's all covered in oil, and man, you know, you see some weird things and you always wonder what somebody else may have done before you. It's kind of scary for me as a mechanic to get into stuff like this and be like, you know, I sure hope I don't get any surprises. But anyway, what we're gonna do here is open this thing up. I'm gonna take the wheels off on both sides, probably take the roof and the rollover protection system off, all that stuff, and really get in and see what happened. So stay tuned. You'll see hopefully something interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the axle housing off. Original issue was this one was locked, it wouldn't turn. It moves totally freely with it off the tractor, so the issue isn't in here. Although I'm gonna be inspecting this for damage, and I'm gonna have to tear it apart to replace the seal in this cover, since we're leaking over there. But a lot of stuff's wet. This guy tried to, the last mechanic, reuse the old gasket and just put silicone on it, which all it did was make a mess and leak everywhere. This is why you don't do that. Wow, look at that. I haven't even looked at this yet before I started filming, so I'm showing you things as I find them. The one thing I see is like, see, there's a crack, and that's actually a bump, which means that this guy put this thing together wrong and something got stuck, and there's actually a ball right there in the hole, if you can see it, right in there. Can't really see it too well. I'll grab a flashlight for you. There it is. There's a little ball bearing in there, and that fell out. So this thing, the brakes were stuck in the lock position. Might have been one of the issues, but I'm gonna have to, like I said, take all this stuff apart and fix it, because somebody else did not do that. Oh well. And these brakes are fried. You can see these rings right here. Something's been rubbing super bad. Here are your brake discs. And actually I can see that this thing was put together wrong, because the center of this brake disc here, you can't tell, but just by looking at it for me and rubbing my finger on it, this is domed out. This curves out right here, which means it was cockeyed, and then the guy just torqued it down until it basically torqued it down until it fit, which all that did. I can try to show you here now. Take this guy off like this. Carnage inspection. Look at this guy. See how that center has got a bump to it? Here's one that's not damaged. Perfectly straight. So this guy basically got this thing crooked and then just mashed it, torqued it down until it said, oh, okay, I'll fit. And that's all it did. But when you do that, you get problems, you destroy things, you get things all bent out of shape. And I'm gonna see now that this is out, if this will spin. If it will spin, which it won't, so that means something else in probably the transmission. Gee, let's take this out of gear. Oh, it is out of gear. Okay. Let's go spin the other tires, see what that does. I got a block of wood under here for stabilization, so let's pull this guy out. Of course, I kicked it in with my foot, so. There you go, spin freely. There you go. Okay. This guy spins freely. I'm gonna have somebody help me turn a wheel while I look at the other side for inspection purposes, but that would cause you some issues. Here, actually, I can just do that right now. Okay, so that's spinning, and I'm not gonna be able to do it with 3 hands here, so I'll show you guys whatever else I find later on, and hopefully we get this all figured out for this gentleman. Okay, so here's what we found. Here is the 4-wheel drive cover under the transmission, and there's this collar and the spring and a ball bearing just sitting right in there. And I'll should go underneath and show you the viewers here what we're looking at. Underneath here, the reason I was looking was because if you grab both wheels and turn them forward at the same time, they should both roll together, or you can spin them both, you know, one forward, one backwards, and that's a sign of a good differential. Well, once you try to roll both forward, they're locked, they're jammed, so something was wrong. So what I did is I pulled this cover off. Here's the gear that transfers the energy from the transmission shaft to this gear, and then this gear is connected to your drive shaft to your 4-wheel drive. Now, when I pull this cover off, there was this part sitting there, and this guy was stuck. Couldn't move it at all. It was just jammed. And this guy's supposed to roll that back and forth and also be connected to that 4-wheel drive engagement pedal. Well, this bracket right here was bent, and this thing was slid way out, which meant that the engagement fork wasn't even in contact with this gear. So this guy just kind of fell out on its own and then just jammed against the transmission housing, just like that, which I just got it stuck again. Tap this guy. There you go. So, and I'm gonna try to show you guys in here, up in the, where'd you go? There it is. So way up there is a tab where my light's kind of shining. Bad video, sorry. Right there where the shadow's going. That's a tab on the transmission housing that the teeth on this gear are getting stuck on. So that's where our carnage is coming from, if you were curious.